fam, I'm back again for the next part of the video, which is the requirements of the university application. You definitely need to know which course you're going to do. That's number one. And then have the documents, have your CV, have your educational qualifications. For instance, if you have the first bachelor's, have the bachelor certificate. Usually what is most important is the high school certificate, but just have all of them. But that's the very basic that they will be asking. At least here, that's what they will ask. For other places, they might also ask more credentials. Have a motivation letter, and that means you need to know why. So this is more like an abroad thing, because in Kenya for my first bachelor's, I never had to do that. They just dropped me in KU and gave me a course to do, which I didn't even know what the course was about. It was my first time hearing about the course, but at the end of the 4 years, I loved the course and I grew passion for psychology. And we are not talking about universities in Kenya, but we are talking about universities abroad. And I'll narrow down to Germany because this is where I am. So for UK, maybe they might have other requirements, which I have no idea, but I'm gonna speak for Germany.
We'll end up alright, just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime, surround yourself with open minds, people can change.
Based on the applications or the things that I sent, the very basic one is definitely your certificates, educational certificates, which include, if you have a bachelor's, the previous bachelor's or high school certificate. So you can just have your primary certificate, just in case, because especially in Germany, there's something called Anerkennung, which is recognizing the documents. And there's a standard in Germany. Not everyone is allowed to go to university. You need to have a certain number of years. I'm not quite sure. I'll Google and then attach it, but you need to have a specific number of years that you have fulfilled being in school for you to qualify for university. And they have to recognize your certificate if it's recognized here, like if the grading system or something like that, if the system of your education in your country is aligned with their system here, if it marries with their system here, then you would be allowed to do that. Otherwise, your certificate might be null and void, might be considered null and void. And that's why most people even go for Ausbildung or FSJ then Ausbildung. It kind of saves the process, But if you want to really just go directly to the university, they definitely have to check. They don't just allow anyone to go to university. So if you have a first bachelor's, that will give you an upper hand. They never check what grade you got, or rather what class you got. They just need those certificates to show that, to check the number of years and the requirements, or rather qualification, if your system of education is recognized here. I'm repeating that part because it's very important. Most of the people apply for stuff that they have not really dug deep to know what this thing entails, and then you get into trouble, or you even get heartbroken when you're not chosen. And that is what we need to avoid. And then you need to have a gapless CV. That's like German way. And the CV obviously must have your name and every important detail that you have, your educational background and work experience if you have any. And also you need a motivation letter. Sometimes they will tell you exactly how to write. Sometimes they won't tell you how to write. You just have to check the requirements. Biometric passport photo and the passport, traveling passport. Hey, I don't know, hey, like the passport, the one that you use to fly to another country with. That passport is what I'm talking about. So you definitely need to have those. Those are like the very basic requirements that you need. And now the extra ones is if they have specifically requested for something. For instance, if it's a recommendation letter from your previous university, if you need that, please make sure you include it. Basically, just follow the required documents or other guidelines that the universities have asked. Most of the time, it varies from one university to another. You might need proof of language proficiency, depending with the university again, because every university has their own specific requirements. Know what language they do in, or whatever requirements, specific requirements that they've asked for. But most of the time you'll be asked for language proficiency, maybe a certificate or later, or they try you. So some universities will have interview. You will do interviews, some you will not do interview. For my case, I never had an interview. I actually just had a call with a lecturer, and it was to test my German level. And she was like, I don't even understand why I'm doing this, because you're studying in English anyway. So it doesn't really matter like if I speak very good German or not. But this was because they needed to place us in a class, because we had like the A1 level people and we the B1, B2 level. So yeah, that's what she did. But make sure you really don't miss out. Go on the website. This is why it's important for you to really go sit down, check the universities, what courses they offer, and what their requirements are. Don't forget financial means. That's very important. Sometimes accommodation, of course, you'll also need application form. I forgot to mention that. You need an application form from the university's website so that you can know what you're feeding in, because even the financial part you're going to fill in on the application later. Of course, you also have to provide for, at least for my university, I had to pronounce a SEPA account, an account that will be paying school fees. You also have to say who will be paying your school fees. But now I think we are getting deeper into the embassy requirements. So let's go straight into the embassy requirements. Yeah, that's basically what you need to know about requirements for university. So it's not usually that difficult. Subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends and anyone that you think needs this information. I know it's very basic, but it's worth just reminding you about this thing. So peace out.